Hello and welcome back. This is the Heir of Carthage, and you are rejoining the definitive Seleucid campaign, where Hannibal of Carthage, is helping Antiochus to reestablish the Alexandrian glory that was brought by Alexander the Great. Antiochus himself is over here doing that in the east by subduing Baktria and assisting our satrapies, so the east is nearly reestablished. And Hannibal is kind of getting the original western end of Alexander's empire in line in preparation for that legacy to be taken west. We were kind of hoping that Hannibal would take that legacy west, but at this point, I believe he's about a 65-year-old man riding around on an elephant, 66, I should say. So he is probably nearing the end of his life cycle, understandably. He is married. I don't know if there's a way to see whether or not he has any children. This just moves him on and off of this, so... Like I said, I don't know if there's a way for me to be able to see whether he has children or not. If he has a direct heir, then I will definitely try to see to it that he... Has he not been promoted more? We need to secure a promotion for him. There we go. So we'll secure another promotion for Hannibal. In any case, what I'm getting at here is if he doesn't have a direct heir, and if you all know how to see whether he has a direct heir, let me know. I just don't know at this point. Like, he's in the other nobles, but I don't know that there's a way for me to connect anything beyond that. Like, for instance, is one of these his wife? I assume they probably are, but... Again, I don't know. So, yeah, kind of different to me. Can hire more politicians. Let's go back in and look at our character summary here. Antiochus is our king, of course. Not available to the faction leader to secure any more promotions. So, anyway, we have a pretty good... And speaking of securing promotions, we should probably go to our other Seleucid candidates here and probably give them promotions. So like this general here, commanding the Griffin's Grace, is Pyrrhus, appropriately named. But speaking of, before we go any farther and I start taking care of this, thank you all for the support that you continue to show on every episode. I had a lot of fantastic comments. We were joking about the mean comments, and we had some really good ones. And I wanted to read this one from Sebastian Koenig, who I think kind of won the comments on the last episode. He said, "You know, Heir, I'm not going to join in on the whole making mean comments about your mug thing. I think myself better than that. But on the other hand, if you had actually been an ancient Carthaginian military hero, the Romans would have destroyed all statues of you, not to wipe out the memory of a vanquished foe, but just for aesthetic reasons." So that was masterfully done. Using history and insinuating that the Romans weren't just wiping out my legacy, but rather that it was my face. It was the reason why they would be wiping out all the statues. So, well played, sir. An excellent comment and a very funny one. Thank you for everybody else who was leaving comments. I think on the last one, I gave you all the option of talking about who you thought would be the largest faction that we would face, because I'm using this mod that guarantees major faction empires. However, it doesn't guarantee that those empires will be particularly strong. It just guarantees that basically the small factions like the Veneti and the Etruscan League and all that other stuff aren't going to outdo Rome. Now, that said, some of you, I would say that a lot of you feel like the Suebi, and here I'm going to go up to the overhead map. A lot of you feel like the Suebi might be rather large. Some think, maybe in a long shot situation it's the Iceni. Someone mentioned that they think Carthage could be the largest. Multiple people did, actually. However, someone mentioned that Carthage isn't even showing up in the turn end, which is interesting. The Lusitani are another major faction that's based here. Massilia would count. The Arverni in here. Some people mention the Arverni potentially being large. I think you have Getae and Odrysians. So, like, for instance, we can see the Odrysians are alive. We don't know how far their territory extends north. We do see Chimeria here, which is another major faction. Colchis counts as a major faction. Anything that's playable, I believe, like Pergamon, counts as a major faction. So in any case, I don't know where I tend to think. I would be really more impressed to see a larger Rome when we get through. I didn't find a mod that specifically guaranteed a massive Rome. One of the things that I wanted to do was somehow see if there was a mod that basically gave Rome a massive starting position that would represent being past the Second Punic War, like Rome controlling a lot of Hispania and other areas like that, but I couldn't find any such thing, so I wasn't able to do it, or else I would have been happy in order to guarantee a stronger Roman state. But at this point, there's not much we can do. We just have to hope for the best. So for today's discussion, I thought I would change gears a little bit and have some fun with it. So if you want to leave a comment to support, and you don't want to just say something like comment, then here's what I would suggest for today. And that is, I wanted to talk about your favorite units in this game, and see what you all think, and see what the most popular units are. So for me, I have two units who are kind of tied for my favorite in this game, and it is Numidian Nobles and Camponian Cavalry. And I like both of them. They're Camponian Cavalry is a heavy melee cavalry with very high attack. It's armed with a sword, and it's oh, whoops! I didn't mean to break the siege. It is a very heavy melee cavalry that excels at taking down light units, light infantry, I should say. And it can do quite a bit of damage, even engaged with heavy infantry, as long as it's supported with something else and it's not just entirely alone. So, and Numidian Cavalry is similar, except for it's a little less good in melee than the Campanian Cav, but it has javelins and it's rather quick. And so I really enjoy it. I feel like it's kind of a good representation of what I would want Numidian Cavalry to be, which is competent in melee, but also very swift and deadly with their skirmishing. So anyway, those are my favorite units. You all get down in the comments and tell me what your favorite units are. I'm very curious to see what you come up with, though I do have one viewer, it's the DA Wins. I don't know if that's how he pronounces it, but I know his favorite unit, and it's Royal Peltist. I'm not even sure he has to tell me. I think he'll get where I'm going with this joke. In any case, there we go. I'm going to kind of continue things. It may not hurt to run some upgrades at Athens in case we need to do some recruiting up here. Like, let's say that Hannibal ends up in a really tough position. We may want to be able to deal with getting some recruitment taken care of closer to the front lines. I'm going to put a fountain in here as well. So I'm going to spend all my money in Athens at the moment. I'm just going to make sure I don't have any patchy factories cropping up. And as long as I don't, probably just going to hold off for the rest of this turn end. Except for Frada here, I'm probably going to upgrade it. I do not see any potential factories on the rise. Let's take a look at our forces to make sure we have done something with all of our assets. I'm going to go ahead and do a little scouting out here to Ammonium. See what, if anything, the Cyrenicans are hiding in the desert. Let's go over here to our dignitary. We go ahead and get eyes on Baktria. I can't reach Baktria on this turn with the Heralds of Thanos. They do have an army.
Everyone has dark secrets.
Let's incite some unrest. Alright, so we successfully incited some unrest and then leveled up our dignitary. Drops the upkeep in a parent army. I don't plan on having her in a parent army, though. See, this one unlocks a new ability, and let's take a look at our forces. The Heralds of Triton have their movement points, but they are busy replenishing. Hannibal's Revenge has some movement points, but again, they are busy replenishing. I think it is time for us to end another turn. Man, I'm having so much fun with this campaign. I know I've said it before, but I'm gonna say it again. This has been such a good time, and I really appreciate those who have jumped on to support it. Look at these people begging for peace. Athens actually has a... Yeah, I was kind of expecting... Whoa. What is Athens thinking? Like, what are they... You were defending... Oh, they're attacking me. I thought I had taken the settlement at Larissa. I have not taken the settlement at Larissa. I'm going to do a quick save here because It's very possible this auto-resolve could get rid of some of my thorax units. Even though it's like saying 100% of my troops are going to survive, we all know that that's bogus. Okay, yeah, we're good. I'm going to occupy the settlement. I thought Athens might bring that large army forward to face me, and that's kind of what I expected there at that turn, and it would have been quite interesting, to be honest.
Our treasuries were over.
It would have been quite interesting. Alright, so Cyrenaica's moving in a small force to try and be a nuisance. I haven't seen another large army except for the one that's out on the transport ships. At the end of this turn, I need to go look at the politics screen, make sure everything's still looking hunky-dory. Use of mercenaries. It doesn't really matter. Peace negotiated between our Imperium is growing. It means we can issue more edicts. But it also brings with it increased upkeep, which we are feeling now. So we'll need to offset such things as that. Take a look here. A little bit of unsettled. Let's go into the politics. We cannot secure loyalties because it's not time yet, but if I go back to the character screen, I can send some of these families out on diplomatic missions. For relatively little coin, which will secure us some loyalty. Just kind of keep these characters off my back. There we go. So I'll go ahead and do that. That's good enough for now. I'm not going to do any additional missions. I'm not even terribly worried about them revolting, other than the fact that I don't have a lot of spare armies to retake all their territory with.
My skills are yours.
Sabotage. Sabotage supplies. There we go. Increased our spy's rank. Steal enemy agents gold and ancillary. That actually sounds kind of fun. We should upgrade that and then try it. Swipe some gold off of our enemies. Our replenishment must be rather slow because my thorax swords here still have hardly any units. But we are going to continue to push and take territory from Cyrenaicans. I want to keep them on the defensive. They could land this army Alexandria, but Alexandria doesn't have a great defense, but I'm pretty sure we can defend it against what kind of crummy units that basically the AI had there. I don't think it's going to stand a great chance. Hannibal got some replenishing done, but probably not quite enough to come up here and face down. We're about to have a pretty large showdown with Athens. I'm going to need my navy to support on that as well, and they are darn near replenished. And it looks like the RDA have taken Apollonia, so I don't know the extent of this Athenian Empire. It looks like not very far. So I'm not expecting to see a whole lot more of Athens. Let's come back over here to the east at Alexandria, Arachosia. We've got the enemy sieged. My melee units here are really pretty bad, except for my pikes. And there's 4 heavy cavalry units inside the gates, as well as some pikes. 2 pike units. So it actually won't be particularly... I wish you could get rid of these ladders and just get more towers, because I only have 2 towers. And I really don't like the ladders. So... I don't want to fight on the walls. It's really not a good place for my pikes to fight. And if I look at my Persian hoplites and hillmen, I mean, they can probably win on the walls, because this is some pretty bad infantry. And I guess if I take the walls, then we could bring other stuff through the gates to help deal with the cavalry. But they only have 1 more turn. So I'm just going to continue the siege, because these guys aren't going to last long. And then that way I don't have to fight in a disadvantageous position.
How can I serve the people?
Let's go do some more scouting here. Let's go scout north into more Bactrian territory. There is an army here. So we'll want to complete this fight at Baktria rather quickly. And the auto-resolve does look very favorable to us. I'm going to quick save here. If I auto-resolve and do this balanced stance, it'll hopefully be the most moderate. It, of course, damaged the crap out of my elephants. But whatever. We took the Bactrian capital. There is a hoplite barracks here. I don't think this is the army where I was missing one of those critical units. Let's take a look at the other buildings here. We've already got a temple to Poseidon, which doesn't make much sense out here because Poseidon helps ship holes. So not really something that we need. I'll just go ahead and switch this over to the Grove of Nymphs to get the max benefit there. We got a Traveler's Lodge, which is providing food at reduction of public order. I don't need the excess food and reduction of public order. Go ahead and build a library here. And then we'll build something else once we finish tearing down that other building slot. So our elephants cannot be replenished because of recent events. I'm guessing we have unseasonal conditions or something again. Arabia Magna, Persis, Aria, Asia. Yeah, that's probably where we're at. Macedonia, Mesopotamia. So, looks like Hot Seleucid Summer strikes again. So we're going to not be able to replenish for the time being. We're waiting one more turn there. We took that settlement off the Bactrians. That was their capital, in fact. And I am going to hit Ammonium here as well. I'm going to have to manually fight this, though I don't want to waste any recording time on it. So I'll fight this, and then we'll just jump straight back to here. Alright, very little surprise here. That was a very simple victory. I gave them a happy javelin day from my Thurio spears, combined with a lot of archer fire. And we had a very easy and straightforward victory with only 40 losses there while destroying the entire garrison force, which I must say was quite weak and pathetic. Let's see, this is a Hellenic settlement, so I'm just going to occupy it. And it does have an empty building slot here. Or, sorry, this is the place we already captured, has the empty building slot. I'm going to build a consecrated ground there. Help spread some public order. So our troops are going to be able to replenish and do so at a pretty nice clip here. They're not going to be sitting around for a long time. So we've finished that for now. The fleet is mostly replenished. Hannibal, we were waiting one more turn, though we could be counterattacked at Larissa by the Athenians. However, with this many excellent thorax pike units and archers, they can counterattack me with almost anything they want, and they're extremely likely to lose. So they can feel free to bring as many armies as they want to Larissa, and I'm pretty sure that we will cut them down like the dogs they are.
We hunger for battle.
I love how these guys just standing right at my borders, and then Colchis declares war, and then goes completely radio silent on me. So I'm gonna move up. Get ready to push into Colchian territory. I would have... Oh, we can recruit better units here. This is good. Let's get rid of this crappy unit. Bring in a good unit. Alright, so I'm going to replace my thorax sword that we lost. These standard pikemen aren't as good as thorax pikes, but they'll be okay. Like, there's no reason for me to replace them right now. I'm paying additional upkeep at the moment anyway. And I don't think there's a whole lot of reason for me to get too bent out of shape over that. I believe that's all we're really going to be able to accomplish this turn. The situation in the politics is fine. And let's end this one. Oh, actually, we have some edicts we can issue. Let's take a look at something real quick. Still want to see the politics map here. So, the Parthian families control Egyptus. The Greek families control Cilicia. The Egyptian families control Arabia Magna. I don't think I can issue an edict in Arabia Magna, and nor do we need to. I was just making sure there was no new territory, because if so, I was going to issue the commandment that gives the additional loyalty. But we're already doing that, and so there's really no further edicts to issue there at the moment. I could go ahead and issue a tax edict back here at Antioch. I think that's what I'll do for now. I don't know whether we're able to issue additional edicts. We'll go... No, it doesn't look like we are. So we had one additional edict we were able to issue. We've got a champion who has leveled up here. finish up this siege thing. Takes away a lot of enemy holdout time. It can be quite useful. And the general here levels up. So we're going to give him another authority point. It looks like we were focusing on authority with this general. And now let's end our turn. I don't believe there's anything else for us to do. Bactrian's going to counterattack at Merv. Our garrison is not fully replenished. And we are being attacked by a couple of substantive units here. However, I have 3 pike units, 2 slingers, Thurios spears. I mean, we have a pretty decent garrison for us here. Very possible we can win this, so let's fight and see what we can do. We need to set up in a defensive position, use our slingers and Thurios to punish anything that comes close, like cavalry or elephants. We definitely need the Thurios for the elephants. Our slingers will work against elephants, but they are just not as effective. I don't like this map. This was not where we really wanted to be defending. It's just a capture point. It's not a victory point. AI is going to get reinforcements. I don't know whether the AI will just bypass me. So part of me is thinking about setting up.
General!
Let's take a look at some of our options. Like if I feed some pikes across here, I can get a pretty decent setup here where my flanks are secure. It just gives me really poor line of sight with my slingers. But if I set up here, still not great line of sight, but my slingers would have a little more. We could back this up with Thurios spears. And then we could have a backline pike unit backed up by an eastern spear. Hillman? So we could be facing out this way.
Ready for orders.
And then as far as this cavalry goes, we could try and just hide it behind these buildings. Take it where necessary. Let's mob in here. Let's try this. It's very secure. It may not end up being the best place, but I think it's manageable. They had elephants coming, and so we'll have to shift our Thurios spears to whichever side the elephants hack from, so I'll keep an eye out for that. These cavalry are hidden for now. We should hear something about enemy reinforcements.
Enemy reinforcements approaching.
Okay, and they are coming from that direction, and they will make my cavalry visible, so I'm going to run my cavalry this direction for the time being. They're not going to be here for quite some time, though, which should allow me to completely reform. So all we have to do is handle a mercenary Parthian spear and a Bactrian royal cavalry. I'm really tempted to hold fire on my Thurios spears and just let my hillmen throw their javelins over here, because the Thurios spears are going to be a critical defense against the elephants. And we just cannot risk any losses there.
Yours to command. Advance at speed.
The AI is trying to get around my flank here. You can see they're doing some weird pathfinding, hoping to find a way around me. Should not work. Here comes the big javelin volley, so that Bactrian Royal Cav already going to take some losses. There they go, right into the front of my waiting phalanx. These cavalry units remain hidden at the moment. I'm going to try and keep it that way. I'm going to move them over here. We want to save them in case we need them for an emergency. The Bactrians are going to ignore my troops for a moment and just sit on the capture point, which is fine. They can't take it. I have troops in it.
General is dead.
That's good news. Enemy general's dead. Just going to fast forward for a minute because there's nothing really concerning happening here. Enemy general's just going to die. A very uninteresting death there. There's a Bactrian noble horse. I'm surprised that's only is that a heavy horse symbol? Hellenic cataphract and an Indian war elephant. We're definitely going to save some of our capability here. Come attack that Parthian spear. And then I'm going to go ahead and move these pikes as extra security back here. Comes the Baktria Noble Horse straight into the waiting arms of my phalanx. I think I'm going to have a double thick pike wall back here. I'll leave a thin line of pikes up front, and then blockier lines behind them, so it'll be extremely difficult for the elephants to break through. I'm going to turn the slingers and my Thurio spears. Be prepared to discharge javelins and missiles. We are defeating the mercenary Parthian spearmen, no big surprise there. So we should be impenetrable here, even by elephants and Hellenic cataphracts, which by all means are units capable of starting to penetrate a formation. So the AI is attacking all from one direction. We're going to use that to our advantage. They're also going to be blocking each other's charge. Not only that, they're charging headlong into a phalanx, so that is also not going to go well for them. Comes the elephants. Guard mode. They are priority 1. Oh, whoops.
Understood.
Guard mode. Thurio spears. Do not fire at will. Target the elephants. Put them on guard mode, so the elephants are being targeted and destroyed. They have now berserked. I'm actually going to cease fire for a minute with Thurio spears, because the berserking elephants will kill some of the enemy troops for me. So let's take it easy, slingers. Let's let them do a little bit of the work for me. Yeah, I think they just killed their elephants, or I don't know, a whole bunch of them died at once. I don't really know which one. They do have archers coming in. They've also got Thurio spears, thorax swords. I'm gonna hold my cavalry at the ready. We've been spotted over here, unfortunately. Still feel very confident in our ability to hold here. Let's cut down that last elephant. The archers do have a good angle on me. That is going to be problematic. The archers are going to be able to have an impact. They're firing at my Thurio spears, though, which is a very strange choice. I've got some archers coming my way. I might be able to, I don't think they can see my cavalry here, at least at the moment. I might be able to bum rush these archers. I don't really want that Thurio spear to come back here and fight me. I'm trying to cut through the cataphracts, and we are succeeding. Eastern spears, thorax swords, so a couple of decent units left. Back up here.
Citizen cavalry.
My cavalry is now hidden from their sight again. I don't need my slingers over here anymore. We don't need my Thurio spears over here anymore either. You're quite safe from this angle. Got a double pike line. This cavalry is hidden. Once we can get the AI to commit some of its infantry, I can go get those Persian archers. I figured that the Thurio spears would want to have a little bit of a javelin contest here. So I'm going to give it to them. I've got 2 units and slingers, so I'll play javelins with them.
One of our units has used all its ammunition.
Spears! Your orders! What are you waiting? At your service! Our orders!
Let's finish tossing the rest of my javelins out of this Thurio spear. We're pretty close.
The enemy general is dead.
That's good news. I'm gonna go ahead and start blobbing in to the enemy infantry over here. Just trying to overwhelm them. definitely taking some damage over here, but for the moment are okay. They've now committed enough infantry to make this cavalry attack a possibility.
At the ready.
And now their archers are going to have very little reaction time.
Citizen cavalry!
Melee horsemen.
We await your command.
Take the other citizen cavalry and perform a rear charge here. Do need to watch those thorax swords. If my citizen cavalry gets too close, we could take a javelin volley, which would be a little bit devastating.
Swift melee cavalry.
The thorax swords are bracing, almost as if they expect me to charge. I don't intend to.
Under attack.
Let's fall back. They're starting to point my direction. We crush the enemy infantry over here.
Yours to command.
Ready for orders?
Eastern spears. We just have one more archery unit to deal with.
At your service.
I don't know what that thorax sword unit is doing. I'm gonna take my general and run over here. It's just being shot by archers anyway. Some hillmen. Thurio spears, eastern spears. I'm gonna start running this way. And shoot the Hellenic cataphracts over here.
Ready for orders.
Alright, I now have an open window to the other mercenary Persian archer. Another hill unit over here. Alright, so that mercenary Persian archer is gone. The AI is going to be in truly bad shape now. I'm going to fix them with all these infantry units, which honestly might be inferior to that single thorax sword. But I'm going to try and use numbers to my benefit, and we're going to give a pretty good rear charge here from the citizen cavalry. As good as a rear charge you can get from a citizen cavalry. It's not exactly a heavyweight horse unit. Yeah, it didn't even really do that much damage. It's doing more morale damage than it is anything else.
General.
There we go. Shattered it. So we did defeat the enemy here with our garrison. I'm going to run down some of these thorax swords real quick because it's really the only unit that had any men left in it. That way they don't have anything to come back with. Alright, so going to quit battle. That is a good defense for us. Very good defense, in fact. It's very efficient. And unless the Bactrians attack me with an even larger force immediately in this turn end, we should be quite safe, because that army will only continue to replenish, and it could be even stronger the next time the Bactrians bring something after it. So their counterattack will not work. I'm going to release the captives, get some extra gold. Our income is as low as it's been in a while right now. That's interesting. The Athenians just put an army to sea. We might have a good opportunity to deter that. We're going to be counterattacked by the Arachosians here, because they're about to have to surrender anyway, so Pericles' pride is going to get the opportunity to defeat them and then take the namesake settlement, which is Alexandria. So this will be an appropriate capture for us. The map, of course, hates us, so CA please. Get our units lined up. So this is one of my weakest armies still remaining, meaning that has like some of the worst units, but it still has some of these mercenary units, which if I take the time to go replace here soon, we can actually get better units for probably roughly the same cost.
War elephant! Awaiting orders! As you say. Our order! My lord!
Okay.
Ready? Defensive positions!
Start the battle.
General! If we
They attacked me, so I'm going to start rotating uphill.
sacrificed to Zeus
They're going to want to wait on their reinforcements, which I think will come from behind them. But yeah, I'm going to start to rotate uphill so that I can negate some of their height advantage. I'm going to take my troops pretty good while to get up this hill. It's hot and they're running uphill. Comes a potential suicide charge here.
Our hidden units have been discovered.
Ready. Pikes at the ready. Orders. Orders. Our orders. Fire on the enemy.
Start firing on the enemy troops, pull our elephants back a little. I got a nice countercharge over here against the Median cavalry with my mercenary Persian cav, but now we're being countercharged. I'm gonna fall back through some of my own units for support. A little bit pinched here. Persian cav, but I should be able to save it. I'm gonna cut down their skirmisher cavalry. My general is in a bit of danger here. I'm gonna have to turn some.
Our general is under attack.
Yeah, this is actually really bad. I'm gonna take point-blank javelin shots with my general. I've got some slingers turned to return fire on that mercenary horse skirmisher.
Our orders.
Just get my shock cavalry out of here. I'm trying to get my general back to safety because that turned into a not very safe fight to be a part of. And all due to that horse skirmisher. Gotta spread my slingers out so we can get a little bit better shots. There's a pike unit approaching me. Taking a lot of damage in some places. Skirmisher fire. And my citizen cavalry over here is getting slammed by that horse skirmisher, but I'm about to get rid of the horse skirmisher. There's a lot of javelins flying. That's why my elephants are kind of just holding stationary for the moment. Turn fire on some slingers. My Persian cavalry will just not extricate itself from this fight for some reason. Okay. Mercenary horse skirmishers have now been dealt with by my slingers. So that is going to be the end of them. I can now turn around and focus on other units. And wrap up this flank. Countercharge these eastern spears and then go outflank them. Another pike unit here. I'm going to put some fire on with my slingers. Rear charge here with the hillmen. I can now go chase skirmishers with this cavalry from this flank and then work to outflank with this infantry. Which means my archers can now focus pike units as well. Okay, this pike unit is all kinds of outflanked now. And I'm gonna pinch this other pike unit that's attacking me. So they're now gonna be completely outflanked.
The men are wavering.
It's like one of my levy pikes is taking a lot of friendly fire here. Alright, so we've won the battle, so we're gonna end it. No reason to continue it. Hopefully they've got a barracks here, and I can refit this army a little bit. I want to get rid of the mercenaries and refit with better pikes and flank units. And cavalry, for that matter. I'd like to have a minimum of Median cavalry, which is just a far more capable cavalry than citizen. Okay, how we doing? Hit the spacebar here because that's taking too long. Ransom the captives again.
Ready for further orders.
Should force the surrender of Alexandria there. I'd like to find the transports from Athens that put to sea because they would be easy victims. Is this Hannibal? Got a silver coin in his mouth. Could be Antiochus, could be Hannibal. Both of them have been around from the very beginning, and it says a noble death, so I'm assuming it's our family and they die of old age, because we didn't just lose anybody in battle. I'll let the suspense build a little here. Alright, so we captured this settlement.
Commander.
Offered an entire settlement at Gabala? What? Failed diplomacy. Brought a death sentence on himself. Ha ha. Alright, increase in rank. Agent exposed. A child has died. That's terrible. We had some desertion at Bam. That was our executed diplomat. Who is it that... Where was the noble death? Rhodes was destroyed. Diplomat executed. I don't understand. Like, it doesn't show that message anywhere else. Really? CA? Am I missing it? These are all just unseasonal conditions. Diplomat executed. It wasn't our, like, diplomat, I don't think. We're a different faction. Antiochus is still alive. Hannibal's still alive. I think Seleucus was the one I killed in battle. Was this the admiral that I got killed in battle? I think so. I know I killed 2 of my family members in battle by mistake. 6. So, who died? Was it doing that big to-do for one of the Greek family members? Because if so, then I'm not particularly... Like, I don't care. That's so weird. Like, it says a noble death. I don't know who it was. If you all know, please let me know. Like, I need in on the secret. It's weird because it did the whole thing, but then didn't show me. I don't know why it would go through the whole noble death thing for one of the Greeks, but it's none of the leaders in my army. I didn't have to pick any new commanders, so it was none of my commanders. Was it this? The child died? I mean, they haven't done that any other time. The only thing I can imagine is because our diplomat got killed, but we didn't send someone from my... I'm so confused right now. I thought for sure that was Hannibal or Antiochus kicking the bucket, and it wasn't. We can't reach this enemy transport fleet, unfortunately. I'm still very slowly replenishing here.
Ready for orders.
Hannibal's army really probably needs to replenish. I hate waiting around with them, but they probably do need to replenish for one more turn just to make sure that our flanks are totally secure. So I'm gonna hold there. That was just strange. Just very, very strange. Alright, yeah, I can't claim to understand what just happened. I'm gonna go do some scouting with my spy.
Swifter than Hermes.
I thought maybe we were getting a little campaign drama there, but turns out it was just a whole lot of nothing. I'm gonna move back to this settlement. Replenish for the turn and then get ready to attack the Cyrenaican's next location. Let's go take a look at some of our new settlements back here. This one may have been Eastern. Yeah, it was Eastern. Crap. I should have demolished this settlement. Let's convert here. Here. Tear that down. Tear that down. I remember tearing down a building on the last turn too, so I feel like I've got a potential patchy factory creeping up on me. This was the settlement they just gave us due to diplomacy. It has a gold mine, but before I do anything with that gold mine, I need to, I'm pretty certain, yeah, right here. I don't want a patchy factory popping up. Alright, Arabia Magna, Caucasia. Convert that mine shaft. This is unneeded. And I'd like to convert this building over to a more useful one. But I don't have the cash for it, so I guess I can deal with it on the next turn. Okay. Well, we've got Baktria in our control. I'm still waiting on elephants to replenish because we weren't able to really replenish on the last turn end. I might wait one turn here. The Bactrians are building up an army. Character, chance to assassinate. It's too low. I don't think we... Or no, we don't have enough money to attempt it.
How can I serve the people?
Yeah, we don't have enough money. We'll just kind of hold there. So annoying that these guys still have even more territory down here. If they would become my satrapy, I might consider a peace treaty. I'm just very sick of fighting them.
I am here, then. Speak your words, and be sure that I find profit.
They will not. They're not willing. So I guess they haven't taken enough savage beatings yet in order to convince them of the error of their ways. We are about to be invaded by Colchis, who's now fielding Greek giant ballistas, of all things. I'm going to have to double back over here as much as I don't like it. Edessa's garrison is going to be really bad. And I can't let that Colchian army take a whole bunch of territory off me. Because I don't want my my satrapies to just come in and snag my territory. And it's going to hurt my income to lose settlements back here as well. Their allies. I'm thinking of giving Media an order on Pura, and then maybe I can give Sardes an attack on... Are they fighting Pergamon? Fighting someone. Sardes is interesting because they're my satrapy, but they are kind of just doing their own thing. Let's take a look here. Yeah, see, they have an extra war with Tylus. So that's odd indeed. Set a war coordination target. I'm gonna give them a... I'm not at war with Tylus, though. So I can't get them to go there. I'm gonna give them a Colchian target. I'm gonna go to Media. I'm going to give them our Arcosian target. Okay. Alright. Again, I don't really have enough money to do anything particularly useful on this turn end. So we're just going to have to wait this one out, though I have a skill point I need to assign first, and that's going to be at Pericles' Pride here. Our general, who is new because of my having killed Seleucus by accident. Or I say by accident, kind of ineptitude, one way or the other. Minus 5% corruption is going to be useful. Shots per minute won't hurt. With Seleucus, we were working on... Was it a zealous character? Or was Seleucus our strategist? I can't remember. I want to say he was the zealous one.
Ready for battle.
I don't recall exactly. Okay, now let's end our turn. So we have taken some new territory. We're now ready to move against Pella. This is going to be a bit of a setback here, as I'm going to lose some territory at Edessa until I'm able to get reinforcements there. So the Colchians didn't do anything for the longest time, and then of course they happened to come through the mountains where I am not.
All would surely benefit if we agreed
I
to
would be happy to take a trade
from
agreement
this
with
day
you.
on. Well,
That will help offset maybe some of the financial loss we just took. Cyrenicans. An agent exposed. Another child died. Holy cow. We're having a rough time with the kids in the family. I'm gonna move up here and enter an ambush stance, see if we can trap this dollar store Ptolemaic army here. So there's our ambush stance. And let's go get Hannibal. I need to sail to Pella. I'm gonna go ahead and sail out here. That should scare off that transport fleet. And then I'm gonna march against Pella. I'm mostly replenished. I can't. Hannibal's not gonna live forever, so there's gonna be a large force here though, because you got a garrison with 11 units and then a full army. But I mean, Hannibal's got the best army that we can get. So if he can't do it, no one's going to. Yeah, it's just militia hoplites and javelins. I'm going to siege these guys. They won't have a lot of holdout time, and then I don't take a lot of attrition either. So I'm going to hold them, and then my fleet should be able to arrive and help reinforce as well. As far as other things to do, I think we just ended our turn, so we've done a little more replenishment with Pericles' Pride. I've got some buildings I need to build here before we wind up with the Apache factory instead. There we go. Grade that settlement.
Ready for orders.
I need to finish some scythe chariots. Oh, we had access to scythe chariots. Must be a building that's here. Am I tearing it down? Maybe in the process of tearing it down. I don't know how we have access to scythe chariots, but I'm gonna snag a couple.
Are you ready to serve?
I'm gonna get rid of these hillmen and snag another scythe chariot. Have a little fun here. Snag them while I got them. I don't know what building they were coming from, but I'm in the process of tearing a building down, which makes me wonder if that's where it came from. My elephants are a little battered, but there's no reason why I shouldn't be able to hold out against... Because, I mean, I don't even have to use my elephants half the time anyway. I can hold them as a reserve. Go ahead and lay siege here as well.
Let them cower like kennel dogs.
It looks like they have a plague going on over here, maybe.
I need to rest a while.
It's another Bactrian. Oh, yeah, this is actually probably about to get ugly. They might be able to march down here and reinforce. That's a road, not a river, so I think it's very likely that I could be up against a pretty stiff fight there. But, I mean, we have done what we can do for now. There's no reason to spend any money on politics at the moment, other than maybe we should promote Hannibal further. It drops the upkeep cost of his army. Okay. Good stuff. Alright, check again for any Apache factories. None immediately, so I'm gonna go to Caucasus. Yep, here it is. This is one I was looking for. I want to convert this over. Some extra food and wealth. Let's put in a temple complex here. So we'll improve that at Persepolis. Okay. Let's end our turn. I think we're going to end up with some battles here. Oh, I forgot to move that army so they're not all the way to Edessa. Yep. Kind of expected this. Is this winnable? They have 4 elephant units. I don't have a choice but to fight against the AI's large bet. Like, I don't have like a large armies option here. Honestly, we just need to get into a solid defensive position. I could technically corner camp them here, and I probably will. I had one person complain when I corner camp. They're like, I don't even want to watch this when you corner camp. And it's like, bro, so I get it that corner camping wasn't something you could do in real battle. But you know what something was that you could do? You could pick and choose the terrain you fight on. So let's say I'm being pursued by 2 Bactrian armies like this, that I've chosen my terrain wisely. And I might have a spot on that terrain that allows me to defend my flanks. And in this case, it's represented by the line. Like, I know, again, that looks foolish to some people, but that's totally a thing. So the idea of fighting with a secure flank doesn't make the campaign unwatchable or stupid or anything else like that. Plus, it's like, hey, just let me hand the AI a freebie just because I'm going to hold my honor against a computer faction. Like, that doesn't, again, doesn't make sense. Like, what is the honor that I owe the AI? None, right? 0. So again, I understand if people don't like to watch it, that's fine, but I certainly don't feel any obligation to fight in some type of honorable fashion against the AI. I'll fight the way I choose when I feel like it. That's pretty much all there is to it. Alright, so I'm going to line up my units here. Keep my elephants safe in the back. I've got everybody moving into position. Persian cavalry should be safe in the back. Once everybody's in position, I'll finish kind of securing this flank over here. The thorax pikes shouldn't have any problem holding. I'm going to go ahead and use my Thurio spears to help secure the flank along with my hoplites.
Yours to command. Yes, Commander. Orders.
There we go.
Pikeman.
Oh, my pikes ended up on the flank over here. That's actually not what I wanted.
Your orders.
These 2 units need to be here. And these 2 units need to take these positions.
Double time. Your orders.
Oh, it should be about like that. There we go. Alright, so I want my pikes in the middle because they are just better at holding.
Quick march. By your command.
All these guys off of formation attack.
Spears ready. Yes,
Off of formation attack.
orders.
Peltist and archers in guard mode. Okay, so I'm going to fast forward. They attacked me, so it's the impetus is on them to carry out the attack in the allotted time limit. So I'm just holding the fast forward and waiting for fate. So I have a very defensible position here. There we go. Excellent. We are all set, just waiting on the enemy here. I'm going to send a horse unit out. The AI can't see me. So just to make sure they're not sitting on their butt because they can't see me. In Warhammer, I know they'll kind of keep looking around the map. In this game, I don't remember exactly what they do when they can't see you. It may result in them just literally sitting on their butt. However, they could still be just collecting all their reinforcements. War elephants, yeah, I believe they're just collecting the reinforcements. I'm going to leave this unit here to kind of just give the AI something to lock on to. I'm going to skip some time here on what you all are seeing, and I'll come back to you when the battle is getting underway. Okay, the battle is about to be joined here. The enemy has a fair number of pikemen heading towards me. They also have some long-range skirmishers that they will no doubt attempt to use against my own. I'm gonna hit these eastern slingers. They've concentrated all their elephants onto a single flank. Take out these eastern javelins. I'm gonna go into phalanx with all of my pikes. I'm holding on to my javelins so that I can save them for the elephants. My thorax pikes ought to be pretty good. They have some thorax pikes of their own, but not enough to just straight up overcome my main line. Once I get rid of the enemy skirmishers with my archers, we're going to move to a second phase of this. I do have some thorax pikes coming down this flank, but they're not going to... Whoa, that is a very strange formation they are pulling here. I've got a kind of an odd overload on this flank. It's getting quite dangerous because it's taking away some of my options. Slow things down for a second. I gotta pick a new target with my archers. I'm actually gonna target these mercenary Scythian horse archers. Just go at fire at will with these Thurio spears. And I'm going to scoot back with these archers and try and target some of these pikes. Let's hit plate. I need their elephants to continue. I've got this mercenary veteran hoplite into a phalanx formation, which should provide it some nice protection. Alright, it's now time to start hitting the elephant. Oh, hold on. My javelins are targeting the wrong units. Citizen Cav, Indian war elephants. There we go. I target the Indian war elephants with my peltist. If we can berserk units of elephants, they're gonna kill a lot of friendlies. Main line is holding out beautifully right now. I'm actually gonna take some flaming arrows and whip them up into this fight as well. Where's another elephant unit for us? Right here. I'm gonna ignore the enemy pike throw. Oh, there's another elephant over here. I did not get these mercenary veteran hoplites into a phalanx formation, so that was a potentially critical error on my part. Okay, let's play again. I'm gonna wing some like I said, some flaming shot up into this fight. See if we can berserk some of those elephants. My mercenary veteran hoplites have been absolute bastions of strength, but they are in trouble. This weird maneuver the AI pulled off to get its thorax pike around me was very strange. Okay, the enemy elephants are berserking. And they should be killing a lot of enemy troops. Some of them are berserking closer to me. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep the flaming missiles coming and try and keep the enemy elephants berserking over there. AI will either be forced to kill their elephants, or they'll have to do something here. Got rid of one elephant unit. Who was it that used their ammo? Probably a thorax, or sorry, a Thurio spear. There's still 2 units of elephants berserking over here. Baktria and horse archers. I'm keeping the flaming arrows pouring in. My poor mercenary veteran hoplite did its job beautifully. They had to sacrifice themselves essentially to get the job done. So they are gone and likely to be completely destroyed in the midst of this attack, which leaves only a Thurio spear holding my flank over here, which is actually quite dangerous. Fortunately for me, though, I have cleared out some enemies. I can afford to make a little hole in my line here. And bring my own thorax pike as a backup. So these mercenary veteran hoplites, press F in chat. They are heroes of the Seleucid Empire and deserve our respect. I'm out of ammunition with this archer.
Thorax pikeman!
I've got this flank kind of sealed off now. I'm going to try and reposition. This is going to be a little risky. I'm in the middle of a fight, but I'm going to try and reposition this other thorax pike and basically seal off this flank.
An entire unit has perished.
Yeah, that's my mercenary veteran, Hoplite. Rest in pieces. Gentlemen, you were the best of us.
We are at your command.
You fought like you lived, brave and noble.
Hack them down.
Alright. I've now got this... Yeah, we were able to reposition, so I've now got the enemy fixed on the front of my pikes for the most part.
Cross to command.
Quick march.
So we are looking
The enemy general is
to be in
dead.
very good shape here. There could be additional reinforcements still coming on to the battlefield because of how many Bactrians attacked us. We're going to have in excess of 40 units.
Heavy horse at your command.
Eastern Spears, Levy Pikemen. Let's give some supporting charges over here. There's some Hellenic Cataphracts that are going to be a real bugger to deal with. Bactrian Royal Cavalry, multiple Bactrian Royal Cavs. Getting hit by some horse archers, and I have very little ammunition left, but I do have some. Finally starting to clean this flank up over here, which will free a Thurio Spear to come help me. I gotta keep this hole plugged in case they try and get through me here.
Spear infantry ready. By your command. Understood. As you command.
Reposition and prepare to be charged over here. We've got some heavy charges coming in.
Fire on the enemy. Orders by law.
Another Hellenic Cataphract unit making charges. Fortunately, I've still got some pikes in the vicinity. I need to switch off a flaming shot here. Just go to standard shot because it does more damage.
Ready to ride. Riders advance. By your command.
Alright, I'm gonna bring this Thurio Spear down here. That flank is pretty much secure.
Riders at the double.
One of our units has used all its ammunition.
I want to charge that Hellenic Cataphract, but my units can't get a good position. It's gonna countercharge me now, so I'm gonna fall back through my own pikes. Taking some damage here.
Orders, my lord.
That horse archer has been mostly dealt with.
Heavy cavalry.
Let's countercharge this,
We await your orders.
and then countercharge those Hellenic Cataphracts. Extra spears in there. Send my Peltas in as light infantry. Start folding this flank back over.
My lord.
Rid of the rest of these mercenary Scythian horse archers,
Await your orders.
if possible. I don't want to lose any more mercenary veteran hoplites. I don't think I will. They have held out beautifully
The enemy general is
against
dead.
all this heavy cavalry assault. So we killed another Hellenic Cataphract, which I imagine was one of their generals. There's one more Bactrian Royal Cav over here.
Heavy cavalry.
But we have defeated the Bactrians in a
It's turning in our favor.
tremendous fashion here. Somebody might be like, it's just because you corner... Well, yeah. I took the better position on the battlefield and won. Like I said, we're letting it represent what would be superior positioning. Like, so for instance, Hannibal at the Battle of Cannae, he faced an extremely superior foe. And if I'm using the same logic that someone who's upset at me for corner camping be using, they'd be like, well, this was the time for you to lose. This was the time for you to have to fight the way the enemy wants you to. Well, Hannibal, for instance, was outnumbered massively, but he didn't fight the way the Romans want him to. He picked the ground very carefully, and that ground gave him a big advantage, and he used that advantage, and he won against what would otherwise have looked kind of like this, an overwhelming number. So it is what it is, folks, like it or not.
You have further orders?
Plus, it's my campaign, and I'll corner camp if I want to.
In honor, I come bearing gifts. And why do you move away in such a fashion?
We make a satrapy out of Athens? It would be quite the embarrassment, wouldn't it? But they are fellow Hellenic. No. Not interested, then. You can serve the Seleucids and be a part of Alexander's legacy, or you can die fighting against it. We're going to be ambushed here because of my stance, so not great. And we'll take care of this one on the next episode, as I am out of time at the moment. So next episode's going to start with an interesting battle here with us being ambushed. We'll see how I can pull myself out of it. There's obviously no fighting from better ground in this case. So it is what it is. HeirofCarthage signing up for now. I will see you all then.